started. For those that don't know, now you know, this is Twyla Be Good. I'll let her do her own introduction. But
Hi.
but again, y'all, see, now y'all can hear me. I know y'all see me, and I have to watch the comments on my Mac because it's not coming up on my phone at all. So Twyla, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll get this conversation started.
Okay, so for those that don't know me, I'm Twyla Be Good. I'm a certified clinical sexuality coach right here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I work with couples and individuals, singles who are wanting to explore intimacy, building self-confidence in the bedroom, and working on building relationships, having a healthy relationship with their partner. And so I have sex education classes mixed with couples coaching or singles coaching. So you can check out my website at twylabegood.com and book a class. So
And Marcus
yeah,
and
I'm
I
very
attended one of the
excited.
classes. We
Yes.
can give a testimonial. It was so much fun. I believe the class was maybe funner than what I had envisioned in my mind it would be. It was so much fun. So
Yeah.
I would implore you. I know a lot of people say there's no problem. I know what I'm doing and I got this. I know a lot of people say that. However,
Hmm.
it's just something to add. If everything's great, make it greater. Why not make it greater?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I say. Just
Hmm.
make it greater. Add
Yep.
some flair to it. Add some fun to it. So,
Hmm.
Twyla, thank you for being a guest and having this conversation with me. We have had this discussion before. I'm going to repeat what I said early on. This can be a trigger conversation for people. I don't want people to get angry or upset. However, I can't control your emotions. If you get upset, just stay respectful.
Hmm.
And that's it. We're going to talk about a topic from women about women. And so I want to preface the conversation by saying I can safely, appropriately, and fairly discuss this topic because I previously validated my attitude with my experiences, which seemed like it's fair, right? I was angry, I was bitter, and I was negative, and it was a result of my experiences until I understood that I was in control of my emotions. Nobody else controlled my emotions. It wasn't my past. It wasn't what somebody else did to me. It wasn't, you know, what I allowed in my life. It was me. And so once I got to that point, then I moved to a different stage, which was therapy. And then through the
Hmm.
therapy came the healing. And so it wasn't just me being like, oh, all of a sudden I got it together. Because I would classify myself previously as an angry woman. Now, what I also want us to understand is there's a angry woman, and I'm not going to put the black in front of it. There's the angry woman, and then there's Karen's. And we know the difference between the two. But there's this phenomenon and there's these titles that roll around out here, and it's the angry woman and the Karens. And so my honey taught me something through us doing these lives, and that he always defines things. If we're going to talk about something, we need to define it. And so we use
Hmm.
in the title, we talk about anger. So what's the definition of anger? It's a strong feeling of annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. Those are the three
Hmm.
words that the Webster Dictionary defines as anger: annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. Now, you can have all three, but annoyance, displeasure, or hostility. And so I created this thing and I said, I want to take control of my experiences rather than be controlled by my
Hmm.
experiences. And if the past has control over you, it is time to control your future through therapy and healing. So I wanted to just kind of touch on that first before we got into the conversation, because, when people come for you and you got facts and you got definitions, it's hard for them to like come for you because I'm coming with you with the facts of what the word means.
Yeah.
and defining things, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if these are
Mm-hmm.
qualities that you hold, okay, now the next step is you admitting that those might be a quality that you may have, that you possess. And
Mm-hmm.
some women aren't willing to be honest about that. Because, well, I say she can't focus because Twyla has this rainbow
Sorry.
dildo. Ah, she is the sex coach,
Yeah.
and that is her mic.
Yeah. This is how I talk. Why wouldn't you have a penis in your hand?
That's how she talks.
But yeah.
So, introducing Twyla, everybody. If you haven't met Twyla, now
Yeah.
you know. So,
Yeah,
as I did that introduction, Twyla, what do you have to say before we go further into this conversation?
Um, I was thinking about this topic for a while, just because I got to thinking about it after a couple that I had worked with, probably about 3 weeks ago. And, and I'm going to share on the conversation that we had at that time and how her attitude was, but it got me to thinking about women, melanated women, and how we are portrayed, how our attitude can be, our tone of voice when it comes to how we speak to our mate and to our partner. And what does that look like? And so I got to thinking about that, and I wanted to do some research on it, and I contacted you, and I was like, girl, I really want to talk about this. And I actually said, what, something you should talk about is women and how they talk to their man, how they can belittle them, that tone of voice. What does that look like? And,
Mm-hmm.
some women are angry, some women are very bitter, and they have like self-hate, and that energy is portrayed and it comes across in all of their relationships. And so going back to what you said, the definition of angry, what does that look like? What does that mean? And do you truly take accountability? If you are angry, are you showing hostility in your relationships, and relationships all across the board, just not with your partner, but are you hostile towards your children, toward your friends, your family, co-workers, annoyance? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
annoyance is
Mm-hmm.
real. Are you the annoying one?
Yeah.
What does that energy look like? And you said displeasure, right? I was trying to write. You said
Mm-hmm.
displeasure. So that means you
Mm-hmm.
aren't pleased with yourself. So if you are trying to seek pleasure, but you have displeasure, how does that work? That's like oil
Mm-hmm.
and water. And so you're trying to seek something that you are not. And so, like I said, I was really thinking about this, and I found several articles on the angry Black woman,
Mm-hmm.
uh, bitter Black women, and another one was, are Black women undesirable? We are voted the most undesirable woman out there is Black women. And that's a shame that we are portrayed in that light. But yet, if we're the most undesirable, then why is it that other cultures want to mimic us, if you will? They want to get the full lips. They want to have our skin tone. They want to manipulate their hair, how we can do that naturally. But why is it that if we are so undesirable, then why are people trying to, um, I guess, copy us, if you will? And then I got to
Mm-hmm.
thinking about, well, those are physical features. What about our mental features? That spirit, what is that like? Is that why we're undesirable? Is it because of our attitude? Is it because of our tone of voice? um, it's got to be some reason why they, put this stigma on us that we are undesirable, that no one wants to marry us, no one wants to date us. So, yeah, this is why I wanted to talk about it. And like you said earlier, the preface of this conversation is not to judge Black women, melanated women. It's not to uh, create anger. Is to simply have the conversation and talk about why is it that some women have these poor attitudes, why
Mm-hmm.
some women don't know how to, or don't realize their tone of voice, you
Yeah.
know, um, and why they're truly upset and who are they upset with.
With.
And these were articles in Essence magazine, the National Library of Medicine,
Mm-hmm.
the New York Daily News, Women's
Yeah.
Health are writing all these articles about us. So I got my notes and
And I
really
read some
wanted
articles.
to talk about
I
this.
definitely, yeah. When you mentioned it to me weeks ago, and we had the conversation weeks ago, I started exploring and doing some research back then. But to be honest, I started with myself. I started with myself. I was the first person. I looked at me as the first person, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at and I said, why was I the angry person? Why was I the bitter person? Why was I
Mm-hmm.
the person whose energy was off? And as I dissected myself and I started to do the research, I was able to understand those stories that I read. And so what
Mm-hmm.
came of that was, yeah, you can talk about history. You can talk about the things
Mm-hmm.
that you've gone through and things that people have done to you.
Mm-hmm.
But until I realized that no one can do anything to me that I don't allow, because it's easy to point blame. It's easy to say this person did this to me and that person did that to me and they made me do this. They
Mm-hmm.
created this in me, right? So the moment that I understood, and again, I talk about this all the time. It was through me going to therapy that I learned those things about myself. Like and what my therapist told me was, I haven't heard you take accountability for anything.
Yep.
That was a slap across my
Mm-hmm.
face. I turned red. It wasn't a physical slap, but I
Mm-hmm.
know I turned red from that slap across the face. I haven't heard you take accountability for anything. If someone
Mm-hmm.
did something to you, a big part of it is because you allowed it, right? Now, there are those
Mm-hmm.
times where people can kind of get by you some things. They can get by you on some things, but I think overall, I was 90% responsible for what someone else did because I allowed it in my space. And
Mm-hmm.
so when we talk about the word bitterness, like bitterness is, and when I look this up, check this out. Bitterness is a result of anger and disappointment at being treated unfairly. This creates unhappiness. Uh-oh, I lost Twyla. Okay, she's gonna come back. It creates unhappiness because they cannot or refuse to forget bad things that happened in the past. I'm gonna repeat that because this is huge, and this was huge for me. Bitterness is a result of anger and disappointment at being treated unfairly, which creates unhappiness because you cannot or refuse to forget bad things that happened in the past. So bitterness is our responsibility. Nobody else created bitterness for us. Because of the anger and the disappointment of what someone else did, we have that's had too much to do with our happiness. So it's another reason why I talk about going inward, having some self-love, investing time in yourself, because if you're unhappy, it's not anyone else's responsibility. Can I get you back in, Twyla? Can I get you back in? Request to get back in. And so I had to admit to that though. How can you change something that you don't admit? Being bitter is something that I was. I was a bitter woman. I was angry. I I was all of those things. And so I had to admit that that was who I was. And until I admitted that that's who I was, until I accepted, hey, you're a bitter person.
I have no clue what happened.
Like, yeah, that was strange.
It just
But
kicked me off.
could you hear what I was saying though?
Yeah, talking about being bitter. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and I'm going to repeat it while I have Twyla on camera with me. Bitterness is a result of anger and disappointment at being treated unfairly. This creates unhappiness because you cannot or refuse to forget bad things that happened in the past. This is our sole responsibility. Nobody else is responsible for our happiness, our bitterness. It is solely our responsibility. So if you're telling me that because a man did something to you 15 years ago, that you have the right to be bitter and upset and have this nasty attitude because of what happened to you 15 years ago. And now this man who's trying to love you, who's showing you respect, who's showing you loyalty, gets the bitter, angry version of you. And now you use words like, I don't care, when you know you care. But bitterness will have you saying things and doing things that don't align with the truth. And so again, I can rightfully speak on this, y'all. I can rightfully speak on this because I was the angry Black woman. I was bitter. I was angry. I had rage. And it was all tied to my previous experiences that had nothing to do with the people that I started to encounter. So these people were being judged on my previous experiences. Does that make that right? Should they have to endure my ugliness because of what I experienced prior? No, but it's a lot of women who are out here angry. And the ones that are angry are the ones that saying, it ain't no good Black men out here. Ain't no good men out here. They ain't shit. Da-da-da-da. And I'm going to call it out. You angry because you haven't resolved those past issues. You need to heal. You need to get therapy because you're angry and you're mad. And these men are like, I'm good.
I would agree. It also goes back to holding that negative energy and being mad and upset, maybe with someone that, like you said, that has hurt you in the past, but also with the choices that you've made as well. And so you have to realize, okay, I've made poor choices in the past, and now I am, still trying to recuperate or, resolve those issues of the choices that, you made. But you take that out on everyone else and you don't have self-accountability. And so, like you said, you meet people who you want to be in a relationship with, but you still carrying this baggage from way back when. You haven't, resolved the issue. Now this person is getting this piss poor version of yourself. And so, you're walking around with all this anger, and that anger can come out as stress. It can come out as looking older before you really are. It can come out as your diet is not being right. It can come out as just your spirit is not truly happy. And with that being said, I am big on energy and who you attract. So if you are going through, I remember going through a depressive stage in my life. My grandmother had passed. I was not in a place to date. Guess what? Because that energy was very, very poor, that's what I attracted at the time. That whole relationship was gutter trash, like trash. And so I had to get out of that place. I had to realize that. And so, now I'm in a much better place mentally, because it starts here, mentally, spiritually, physically. So the person that I have attracted is a reflection of all of these positive things. So you truly have to dig deep.
You just said some powerful stuff.
Oh.
I want to sit right there for just a few minutes, because this is where, if somebody is sitting in that space right now, I need them to sit with themselves silently and hold themselves accountable. What you said is powerful, and it's true. Because again, been there. If your life is in shambles, your spirit is in shambles. Okay? Let's just talk about it. If your life is in shambles, your spirit is in shambles. People feel that energy. People feel
and men gravitate toward that.
And they see it all over your face. They feel it when they're around you. And so then you wonder why people don't want to be around you. So now you in a negative space because of life circumstances, and then you feel rejected because nobody wants to be around you in that space. which makes you more angry and it makes you
Mm-hmm.
more bitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so now here you go. I want a man. Who? Like, I ain't being funny, but you're gonna attract you.
Yep.
You're gonna
And then you
attract another
mad because you
you.
attracted you, but you
So
don't
then
know you've
what you
attracted you.
so then what you say is he ain't no good. He ain't this, he ain't that. But your energy is attracting the very thing that you are. Your diet,
Mm-hmm.
is something that you talk about all the time. Your diet. So when I was depressed, I ate and I was overweight, right? But
Mm-hmm.
here I was wanting the Idris Elba.
Yep. Just saying.
I said it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
eating right, right? I'm not taking care of my body. My spirit ain't
Mm-hmm.
right. My energy is low because I'm eating crap.
Yep.
But I want an Idris Elba. And I'm mad because the Idris Elba don't want me.
And why would he want that?
So if I'm being honest, the problem was never anybody else. The
Mm-hmm.
problem was never anybody. The problem was me all along. So that's why I'm glad you said that. And I wanted to sit there for a minute because I wanted anybody that's on this live to say that hear us say that, to say, maybe that's the energy that I'm putting out there. Maybe I need to check
Mm-hmm.
myself. Maybe I'm full of anger and rage, which is letting people know that I have a belligerent and aggressive spirit,
Mm-hmm.
which creates me doing physical things. Because I was the type of bitter woman that would throw things. It would get physical. I wouldn't try to hit the
Oh.
person, but I would throw stuff. Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I went to anger management. It was bad. That's why I said I'm very qualified to talk about this, because I was that person. I was that person. So can't nobody tell me what you're doing talking about that. No, I can talk about it because I was the angry, bitter Black woman. I was the
And
person
you.
that got cool with people. I was the person that blamed my past experiences,
Mm.
not even just men, my past life. I was an angry person because of my childhood. I was an angry person because of
Mm-hmm.
previous relationships not working out. But I didn't realize, because I wasn't holding myself accountable for my own behavior. So I was attracting trash men and getting upset with the
Mm-hmm.
trash men. But that anger and that rage was mine. It had nothing to do with them. Me being belligerent and aggressive and physical, that was mine. That had nothing to do with them. And so you wonder
Mm-hmm.
why a man didn't want to deal with me back then, long term. That's why. And I remember, y'all, I'm going to be honest. I remember a bunch of the ladies know this who are in my group called Empower to Be. When I got divorced the second time, I remember going on this rant. I went on this rant in the group. My husband did this and this and this and this and this and this to me. And I was like, girl, you ain't told them people nothing you did. And you did some stuff. Like, you did some stuff. And so it's like, when I had to hold myself accountable and I had to sit in my stuff and I had to adjust my attitude, which was standoffish, a little bit entitlement, nonchalant, right? Because those are the things that you embody, those things as an angry woman. Those are things you embody. So if you're a woman that's out here that keeps saying, ain't no good men, I don't care, I don't need no man for this, no, I mean, go inward, baby, and heal. Get the therapy that you need, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's not true. To say you don't care, that's a lie. Because everybody wants someone to love them and to be, add to their happiness. So to say you don't care is a very false thing. I said that to protect myself, but it wasn't authentic.
I think
Yeah, Rick, true.
I think, you have to be honest with yourself and sit down and ask yourself, well, why am I so mad? Why am I so angry? What has happened to me to make me, feel this way, to where I have all of this built up rage and hostility within myself. And then I'm attracting this guy who's giving me that same energy back as well. Something else, just thinking about the young lady that was part of she was she came to the couples class, and make a long story short, her husband booked the class to, he said, something is not right. I'm not sexually turned on anymore. Um, it's something is going on. Once we sat and we talked and we uncovered some layers, and they were able to express themselves, I realized why he was not able to get aroused. I could see that.
Was it private
And
class? Group class?
this was a private class. He had booked a
Okay.
private couples class, and it was
Okay.
an intimacy class. And so a lot of times people think, oh, well, sex will fix everything. Well, no, it's some underlying issues, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
so what it was with them, she was 45. She didn't have any children. She wanted to have kids. And you got to think about age, okay? And she was, just bad mouthing him because he could not get aroused because of how she was talking to him. He would
Mm-hmm.
speak, she would not be quiet and let him speak, first of all. And so I had to be like, okay, well, why don't you let him speak? I need to hear what he's saying. And so it was her whole attitude, her demeanor, even when he talked, it was how her body language was, the rolling of the eyes, the hand placement, all of
Mm-hmm.
that. And so, you have to figure, if you were truly that hurt and miserable deep down inside, your spouse sees this. Why would he be attracted to you and you doing all of this? And so I I noticed that, and I'm like, wow, she is what these articles are about. That was her, you know, and it was sad to see, but she had a lot of self anger. I would say the biggest takeaway is, if you are feeling like that, really take a step back and journal if you have to. Sit down in your thoughts and write down, why are you mad? Why are you
Yep.
exerting this energy to be mad and frustrated and pissed off all the time? Like, what's really going on? And how
Mm-hmm.
do you really think that you're going to attract someone who's going to be nice to you, who's going to be,
Yep.
wanting to please you when you cannot please yourself? Like, that's very, very real. And so if you are up in age, and well, not gonna say up in age, but if you are just saying, there are no good men out there, you might want to ask yourself, why is that? Who are you attracting? It
Mm-hmm.
could be the minute you attracting that's no good.
Yep.
Just
And why are
saying,
you attracted?
uh,
And why are you attracting no
yes,
good men? Like we have
yeah.
to dig deep in ourselves. And I'm glad that you shared that story with people. I was hoping that you would, when we talked about it, because I think that's a good example to share with people, to say, hey, you all need to hear that. Like, I've had friends like this, and I've had to separate myself from women who behave that way. Because if you treat your spouse, your mate, the person you dating
Mhm,
like that, you will treat me like that. I've had to separate myself from women who do that, because I already know it's
mhm,
coming for me. And so you have to be careful. Like, what type of people are you choosing in your life? I don't want angry, bitter people
mhm,
in my life. I don't, because I already used to be that. So I'm very
mhm.
protective, of the energy that I allow around me, because I've seen women with these up and down mood swings. They're off putting. Their words are not aligning with their actions. It's like, you're angry, you're upset, and your spirit is exuding just nastiness. Who wants to date you?
And
Who
even
wants?
not, and even not just dating, but who wants to, like, the friends that you associate
Right.
yourself with? So those women are pretty much a reflection of you. You guys are all in the same circle, talking negatively, just,
Mm-hmm.
bad mouth and having this bad attitude, and, just piss poor quality, if you will. So who would want to be around that all of the time? There was a I was doing my research, and CNN had a documentary out, or a short story, not short story, but it was a topic or whatever. And it was called Black in America. Why can't a successful Black woman find a man? And so,
Mm,
you know, if you are successful, you have all of these degrees and credentials, yet you still pissed off at the world for whatever reason. And you wake up one morning and realize, wait a minute, you know, I'm in my mid 40s. I have all of these accomplishments, these accolades, these degrees. I've done so much. I've traveled, but yet I'm still by myself. I don't have any kids. I'm not dating anyone. Then what do you do? So you have to turn around and look, well, how is my personality truly like? How is my attitude? You know, are you mad because you are by yourself? You know, or did you realize, oh shit, it's too late? Now I want to have these kids. Now I'm just mad at the world because I waited, you know, until now. You know, that's
yeah,
resentment. And
exactly.
a lot of that is going on too.
Yep. That now that's another point. There's a lot of reason, and that's where the I don't care comes from, right? I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care about men. I don't care about you having no man because I don't need no man. I can do it all by myself. And well, okay, there
Pause.
are women.
Let's pause right there. Let's pause right there. I don't need a man. I'm a strong Black woman. I'm independent. I can do all of this. Why is it that we have been taught to believe that we don't need anyone? Why is
Mhm.
it that we have been sold this story of you a strong Black woman? You can be bad all by yourself. Damn it, I don't want to be all by myself.
Right,
I'm tired.
right.
Why is it that we as a group have been sold this? No one else has been
Yep,
sold this narrative of you a strong white woman, you know, or as a white woman, you can be bad all by yourself. Like who,
right.
where did this come from? Let's start there. That's why we pissed off,
Yeah,
is because we have been told that yes, you can do this all by yourself. You don't need anyone. And when in fact, we as humans need other people in
yep.
our corner, and we need healthy relationships. I still, for the life of me, do not understand why is that. And she says, Consuela says that was a part of the system design, break the family and keep everyone in
Mhm,
shackles. True, but we have to get over that.
mhm.
Some kind of way,
Right.
we have
And
to break these
exactly,
shackles, get over
exactly.
that, learn how to talk to each other, learn how to talk to each other as women in
Yep.
conversations like this, learn how to talk to each other in relationships as
Hmm.
melanated men and women. You know, it posts, you know, people make different posts and they don't know how to talk to each other.
Yep.
It's very sad because overall it's like we are a very broken, spirited community.
And here's the thing,
And
Twilight.
it's all that.
Here's the thing, and I'm glad that I heard you say that. In reference to Consuela's comment, when I talk about things and I say, "Hey, this is happening and that's happening," we we tend to go to our history, and I know history is a big part of it. It is. I get it. Like from slavery, this has been ingrained in us. We've been taught
Mm-hmm.
these, but I also know that I grew up in the hood, right? I grew up in poverty. I grew up seeing a lot of different things that no kid should see. And so I had to say, I know better and I see better.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't keep saying, but because I grew up in poverty, because I grew up around violence, because I grew up in this,
Mm-hmm.
that makes it okay. I understand that the system was designed for us to do these things. But when are we going to say, fuck the system? Like,
Because we did.
when are we going to say fuck the system? When are we going to stop making that be a part of our excuse and the reasoning of why these things are the way they are? We can break it. We can break this. That's why I constantly talk about therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I constantly talk about healing. I'm not going to stop talking about it because that's key. to our people staying in marriages, staying in healthy relationships,
Mm-hmm.
attracting the mate that we're supposed to be with, because we have to do better. When you know better, you are required to do better. You are required. That's a requirement. We cannot keep
Mm-hmm.
saying this happened because of this and this and this and this. We have to hold ourselves accountable, and we have to hold each other accountable. I love you enough to say, Twyla, that's unhealthy behavior. I
Mm-hmm.
love you enough to, and I would hope that you love me enough to say, Keya, that's unhealthy behavior. In fact, that's the only people I'm connected to now. I'm only connected to people who gonna keep it 100 with me, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with them. If I can't tell you the truth, you're not my people. If you can't tell me the truth, I
Mm-hmm.
would hope I'm your people, because I want us to do better. I don't want us to keep making that excuse as to why we're not in healthy relationships, and why our marriages aren't succeeding, and why we can't attract the
Mm-hmm.
right person in our lives, because it's not fair to our children. It's not fair to
Mm-hmm.
us. It's not for the generations to come behind us. It's not fair to them. So we have to be better than
It's
this.
not.
Better than this.
And I would say that, we haven't always been this way. We've had, healthy Black marriages, melanated families, doing their thing. And yes, the system has divided us. We all know that was designed. There's no elephant in the room when it comes to that. But we have to
Yeah.
figure out how we can get back to that. And it starts with, you talked about going to therapy. You talked about healing. It starts now within ourselves. You have to
Mm-hmm.
start there. You really and truly do. You have to be aware and cognizant of, how is my tone of voice? If I see a sister walking down the street and I give her a compliment and I say, you know what, girl, you wearing those shoes, I like it. Don't think I'm just trying to, like,
Yep.
slow down a minute. I'm just giving you a compliment. How we can
Mm-hmm.
appreciate and take a freaking simple compliment. Like, it
Yep.
starts there. Don't have this guard up all of the time. They're like, why is she looking at me like that? Girl, I'm just admiring your shoes, and saying, hey, sis, I like what you're wearing. Like, it's just like, okay, thank you. It's all of those hidden little details that you have to be aware of. Your attitude, your body language, your posture, how you walk, when you are out and about. Do you hold your head up high? Is it hanging down low? All of that plays a factor in your daily existence, if you will. What are you saying to yourself every morning when you wake up? What are you speaking life into self? Are you speaking negatively, or are you speaking positively? You have to ask yourself that. But you
Mm-hmm.
have to be aware of what you are doing, how you are sounding, how you are speaking, how you interact with your friends, your family. And I think once you truly wake up and realize that, and you can start to move around from those people who may be negative, and eventually you should get tired of that and be like, you know what, this is too much. I need to find some other friends, or I need to get out of this relationship that I'm in, because this isn't healthy for me. I used
Mm-hmm.
to always wonder why I would meet men who were inconsistent. And then I would always say, the thing that they were consistent with was being inconsistent. And I had to realize, well, shit, I'm inconsistent on some things. And that's why
Yeah.
the people that I am meeting are inconsistent. And I
Mm-hmm.
had to, figure that out after years, to figure out, why am I attracting these type of people? I've never
Yeah.
really been like this angry person. I don't I've never had that type of energy. That has never been my personality. I learned to not surround myself with drama ever since I was in high school. Just never did it. Drama happened. I didn't know what was going on until weeks later. And I'm like, oh, that's what happened. I was doing my
Mm-hmm.
own thing. But what I had to realize is that in relationships, how I'm feeling, my energy is what I'm attracting. So all of this plays into the fact, if you are upset, if you're angry, if you're mad, then that's what you are truly going to attract. And you're going to continue to say, there's no good men out here. Well, are you a good person? Are you bringing peace? Are you a nice person? Because
Mm-hmm.
don't no man want no angry woman. Okay?
At
He
all.
wants somebody that's nice. He wants somebody that's gonna be peaceful. and be his porn star. Can you be both?
Yep. Yeah. That, I mean,
Yeah.
that's true. Everything said, Twila. And I mean, so, and I appreciate our different experiences because by me having this background of a woman who can truly say, I can speak on this topic as a woman who used to be angry, who used to
Mm-hmm.
be bitter, who used to have this negativity. And from your point of view, where you learned early, like, I don't even want to even deal with that.
Girl, we could have been
However,
friends, but I would have been like, nah, I can't hang with Keya like that. Because one
right,
outburst, I would have been like, she good people and all.
the difference is, like, yeah, you wouldn't have been my friend. However, when it came to choosing your mate,
Mm-hmm.
there were issues there, right? And
Yep.
so, although there weren't similarities in terms of you being angry and bitter and negative like me,
Mm-hmm.
we still couldn't choose the right mate. And I'm not going to say choose the right mate. We still didn't vibrate the right
Yep.
energy to get the
Mm-hmm.
mate that we were really intended to get, because of what
Yep.
our energy was vibrating. And so at the end of the
Mm-hmm.
day, it still comes down to you loving yourself. It still comes
Mm-hmm.
down to understanding yourself, you know. And for me, I had to go through therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was necessary for me. And through that therapy, there were things that I learned that I wasn't privy to when I was younger. And so the
Mm-hmm.
therapy helped me to understand some things and how to understand myself. And when I got to
Yep.
that point, then I became self-aware. And then through my self-awareness, I became accountable. And through my accountability came healing. And so
Mm-hmm.
you have to do the work. I often tell people, you can't attach to me and become healed. It don't work like that. I've done the work.
Mm-mm.
You can hold my hand, you're not going to be healed. You need to do the work. So I'm not attaching to you and all your drama because you think, well, let me hold Keya's hand because she done the work and I'll get healed because Keya's healed. That doesn't work like that.
You're
You
not
need to
touching
do
my
the
garment.
Yeah, you need to go within and you need to figure out why
Mm-hmm.
you are having the same issue over and over and over again. And I understand people will argue with me up and down. Well, there's more women than it is men. They'll argue me up and down and say, but men are dogs out here and men do this out here. Well, you know why that's not a concern for me? Because I don't attract those type of men anymore. So I'm not
Mm-hmm.
concerned with the men who are dogging women out and doing those types of things because I don't attract that. I I
Mm-hmm.
don't I'm not attracting men who are cheating and lying and playing games. Not to say I'm perfect, not to say I'm better than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's to say
Mm-hmm.
that I've done the work. And so in addition to that, I'm not looking at people and saying, you need to do this for me. And I don't have an entitled mindset, right? Because there are some
Mm-hmm.
women out here who have an entitled mindset who believe
Mm-hmm.
because they should get this and they should get that. And so, yeah, that can add to your misery too. Because a man might give you all of these physical things, but he's not going to give you
Mm-hmm.
what you really, really desire. Your heart desires a mate who's going to be
Mm-hmm.
loyal and honest and committed to you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I totally agree. I totally agree. You have to
Love you, Layla.
bye. Thank you for tuning in, Consuela. What you talked about as far as the attraction, that energy. Yeah, you can't cling on to me or surround yourself with me thinking that you're going to get these positive vibes. First of all, you're not going to deplete me of my energy because you got negative energy over there anyway.
Right.
And it goes back to just first of all, you talked about that you took accountability. You realized that a lot of women don't, or they may not want to realize that. So my biggest thing is, first of all, you need to dig down within yourself, take accountability. You also need to realize, how are you talking to yourself? What is your mental state like? Your spirit like? What are you telling yourself every morning? Are you telling yourself, you know, that I don't deserve a good relationship, well, then you're not going to get one. I used to say, well, I used to feel that, you know what, I just want to date. Just date multiple people. I don't want to be, in a committed relationship. Well, those are the men that I attracted who didn't want to be in a committed
Mhm.
relationship. But deep down inside, little piece of me was like, nope, I want to be in a committed relationship. So when I started to change my mindset, how I talk to myself, then that is what I started
Yeah.
to attract. But you cannot continue to be angry and mad and bitter. You have to let that stuff go. Seek therapy. It's plenty of therapists out there. Therapists that look like us. So
Yep.
get the therapy, get the help before you even get into a relationship. Work on yourself. Um, and then, once you do meet someone, ask them, have they gone to therapy? There's nothing wrong with that. Men go through shit too.
Hmm. The other thing I want to touch on, and this is one last topic I want to touch on. I know we got 8 minutes left, but there are women who their energy screams, "I need a man," right?
Oh,
I need a
Lord,
man. I
yes.
want to, and I want to take anything that you give me, right? And so you have to be careful of that as a woman,
Mm-hmm.
because that also, like, you're inviting all kinds of, you're gonna get anything when you're
You
desperate.
sure will.
Let's just talk about it again. Something else I can speak on because I've been there. Okay, when you get in the
Raise his
space
hand.
where
Me too.
desperation spirit is loud, okay, and all your business is out there for desperation spirit. So desperation spirit is dangerous, okay, and
Mm-hmm.
you need to check yourself. If you are a woman who's going around, and anytime you're in a social setting, you want to be seen, you tell
Mm-hmm.
him how you want this and you want that, you telling him everything you want from A to Z, which means you're giving him the blueprint. Like, check your energy, because what that's saying is, I don't have no self-love. I
Yep.
don't know who I am. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be careful about that, because you're going to attract a man who's going to come in and tell you everything your ears want to hear. And you
Yep.
going to say, that man lied to me, and that man played,
Mm-hmm.
and that man did this to me, but you did it to
Mm-hmm.
me
But you
because
did it to
you gave
yourself.
blueprint. He lied to you because he knew you was thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
That's my point.
And when you thirsty, you tend to drink whatever that is nearby, and you attract that. And thinking about past situationships, yeah, um, just attracting these randoms, if you will, not
Mm-hmm.
meaning anything. But I had to realize it was the point in time of my life, the stage that I was going through, and just thinking about that's who I attracted. Even when it
Yeah.
comes to the friends that I was hanging around, the things that we did, the shenanigans, all of that, I would never do that now. Like,
Yeah.
never. Like, I don't even have the energy for all of that. But I had to
Right.
go through that to get to where I am now. But I
Exactly.
realized that that's not the lifestyle that I need to be, continuing, if you will. So
Mm-hmm.
I would just say the takeaway is to self-reflection, self-accountability. You don't have to be angry. You do not have to be mad. You don't have to be bitter. There are good, melanated men that are truly out in this world. You just have to project that energy, that spirit, and, just be mindful of who you share that energy with. Because now that you've gotten rid of the angerness, the bitterness, now that you're positive and you are wanting pleasure, be careful who you share that with. Okay? Because people read and feed energy. Men, they know it, they sense it. So you don't want to capture the wrong one that sees that you're in a good space and he's not a good person. Just have to
Mm-hmm.
truly be mindful of that.
Yeah. Those
This
are
was great.
takeaways. Those are good takeaways. Like, no, and I appreciate you calling me and saying, let's have a conversation about this. And I think um it's a dangerous conversation to have with some people. But my
Mm,
concern wasn't the danger of the conversation. My concern was not having the conversation, because
Mm-hmm.
that us not sharing this is detrimental. Me not sharing
Mm-hmm.
my lessons, you not sharing your lessons is detrimental, because
Mm-hmm.
this is what the platform is for. The platform is for us to speak about things real. And this is a
Mm-hmm.
real conversation. And who better to have a conversation about bitter women but women? And
Yep.
especially a woman who used to be an angry, bitter woman. Like, if you don't listen to me and take what I say, you're just not willing to be open
Yeah.
to changing or doing what's necessary. Because I'm not saying, hey, I ain't never been this, but I'm trying to tell you what to do. I'm telling you, this is who I used to be. I've been
Mm-hmm.
there. I understand it. But I also know that you can change. I also know that you can grow and evolve. And I also know that you can hold yourself accountable, do the work, have some
Mm-hmm.
self-love, and you can attract the mate that you really desire. And both of us are living witnesses to that. We're not just
Yes.
speaking from, we ain't speaking from the moon, the sky, and the stars. We're speaking from straight up experience. You have a great mate.
Mm-hmm.
I have, and we were able to attract that. In fact, in these last 3 minutes, and it's not going to even take me 3 minutes, I'm going to share a very short story. Several people said to me, I know you got a whole bunch of men that be in your inbox. And I said, I absolutely do not. My energy tells them they can't come in my inbox. What I put
Ooh.
out, what I put out is so obvious. They know they can't come in my inbox. I don't have, but I know some women who say, they stay in my inbox. Don't nobody stay in my inbox, because they know at one point in life, my inbox be full of stuff. Why? Because I had a thirsty spirit. Why? Because I
Mm-hmm.
had a low spirit. Why? Because I had a I don't know who I am spirit. And so, yes, my inbox was full then. But when you know who you are, when you're confident in yourself, and when they know they
Mm-hmm.
can't come with you, they're
They
not
won't.
coming inbox. They're not. So people think because your
Mm-mm.
physical outward the looks is going to attract all of these different people. No, spirit is everything. Energy is everything.
Energy is
That
real. Energy is
means
key.
all of this don't mean nothing. It's all my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's all your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they're not in the inbox. So you're not gonna have all these people in your inbox. You can post the most beautiful pictures ever. They're not coming in my inbox, because they know if I come in her inbox, there's a responsibility attached to that. If I
Yep.
go
And they
into
don't
my
want that.
inbox, there's a responsibility attached to it, and you ain't about that life.
No, they see me with this and they see the classes and they try to test the waters. Shut it down real quick.
Mm,
Because
yeah,
you know,
but
yeah, that's a whole nother story. But no,
they
shut that down real quick.
and so
There's only one bearded guy for me.
so I said earlier, take control of your experiences, rather than be
Mm-hmm.
controlled by your experiences. If the past has control over you, it's time to control your future. Get the
Mm-hmm.
therapy you need, do the healing work necessary, because there are plenty of good men out here that will love you, that will
Mm-hmm.
be loyal to you, that will respect you, that will
Mm-hmm.
honor you. We as women sometimes have this list of prerequisites that men have to have when we fall short ourselves. And typically, I'll say this, the women who have these long lists are not, they don't have half of what's on that list. They don't.
Mm-mm.
They're not doing the
No, they
work.
don't. Mm-mm.
They don't do the
Mm-mm.
work. And then they get angry, and that creates bitterness, and that creates even more issues for them. So I'm going to tell you, do the work. Sit by yourself before you try to get in a relationship with somebody, and do the healing work. Because if not,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be on repeat, and it's
Yep.
going to frustrate, and you're going to see other healthy relationships and you're going to resent them, and you're going to become more angry, and you're going to become more bitter.
Mm-hmm.
Just do the work. Just do
Mm-hmm.
the
You're
work.
gonna be like that hamster in that little wheel going around and around and around and around. You have to do the work, and the work starts with self. So that is your homework for tonight, guys. Self work.
Now, y'all heard the sex therapist. So, Twyla, make sure
Yes.
you drop your handles in the comments so that people can find
Oh,
you. If they find themselves in a position that they need to reach out to the sex therapist.
yeah. Let's see here. You can reach me on Instagram. Oops. That's my Instagram handle there. And you can also check out my website as well. I am planning classes, or actually, classes are already up for um, the remainder of the year and going into next year. So, group classes, couples classes, private couples classes, and singles private classes as well. And we do mirror work in the classes, um, where we sit in front of the mirror and we do affirmations. So yeah, I'm big on affirmations. I'm big on how you talk to yourself. You should talk to yourself positively every day from the time you wake up throughout the day. I would just say, I'll leave this with you. Make sure that you tell yourself that you are deserving of love, you are deserving of pleasure, you are beautiful, you are smart, articulate. I say that all the time. It's on loop
Yeah.
all day, all day, all day. So I would say, make sure that you tell yourself that every morning, and because you deserve that. And once you start saying that and
Yes.
believing that, you will attract that. Mm-hmm.
I
Yep.
echo everything Twyla just said. I echo that. And anybody that knows me closely, and I know Twyla closely, we do this for real. We speak positively
Mm-hmm.
to ourselves every day. Marcus can tell you that this is no lie, baby. I wake up in the morning dancing, nude, looking at myself, talking
Mm-hmm.
positively to myself. This ain't no joke around here. We
Mm-hmm.
love ourselves. You have to love on yourself, because the way
Yep.
that you love on yourself, trust me, another person's gonna love, because they're gonna see the love you got for yourself. They don't have a choice but to
Mm-hmm.
love us the same way we love ourselves. And so I
Mm-hmm.
remember real briefly, I remember we went on our double date, right? And
Yes.
it was it was amazing to see, like, the energy and the love that
Mm-hmm.
the two couples had, right? We had never met. You had talked about them before. You had been around Marcus and I before, but it
Mm-hmm.
was amazing to be in that type of energy. It's amazing to be in good energy like that. To
It
see to
really
see
is.
another have genuine love for each other and genuine
Mm-hmm.
respect, you know, for us to come together like that, because it shows whatever you are, even as a healthy couple, we're gonna attract another healthy couple.
Yep. Oh, that's another hot topic. Healthy couples attracting healthy couples. Like that's
Let's
another
talk
one.
next time you go to Houston and he come down. Let's have that conversation.
He'll be down here this weekend.
Okay. Let's have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation, because I think that would be a great conversation, because it's hard to find other couples that you can connect with in a healthy way.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
relationship is healthy, our relationship is healthy, so it ain't no hating, it ain't no backbiting, it's none of that, because we both in good places,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Really good places.
Yeah.
Listen,
So let's get that on the calendar.
listen. Yes, let me know where you want to meet or whatever. But yeah, I think that's so true. Like we talk about healthy relationships. That is in fact healthy relationships, who you surround yourself with as a couple. You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, healthy
Yeah.
couple relationships is key.
Mm-hmm.
That's so, oh, yeah, that's a good one there.
We might have to
That's a really
record.
good
We
one.
might have to record that conversation and then play it later.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, plan to do that.
Yes.
But let me know, because he might want to be doing something different. So you let me know once you talk to him what it is.
He'll be down. I can make him. I have my ways. I
Understood. Understood.
have my
Okay. Well,
ways. He'll say yes.
again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for supporting, as always. Twyla, I appreciate you so much for calling me 2-3 weeks ago and saying we need to have this conversation, because we did. It was an important conversation. I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. I'm
Mhm.
sorry I didn't get to respond to everybody's comments, but we were kind of on a roll. And so please know, y'all know typically I try to get to the comments, but I saw the comments. I love them. I'll get to them when we get off the live. I love y'all.
Okay.
And until next time.
Bye.